Hi everyone, my name is Sharon To, and I want to be next year's internal vice president. One of the things that I realized this past year, thanks to my mentee Alex, is that the people who you meet and surround yourself with in college are the family that you choose, and that family is unlike any other. Everyone here today, and even those who aren't at the moment but are members of Fusion, are part of the Fusion family. And as internal vice president, I want to continue to influence and extend that familial and inclusive environment to not just current Fusion members, but also all of those who are looking for a place to belong, like I was, and probably like the rest of us were before we found Fusion. My leadership style is one that I think is very fitting of the internal vice presidency. I'm a flexible leader in that even though I can serve as a support for others and give them what they need in order to thrive, I can also take the helm when the role is called for. I consider myself level-headed and always willing to compromise, which I see as helping to establish and maintain group cohesion. I've also been hearing quite a bit this past year that I'm considered maternal by my peers, which I take to be a rather beneficial quality considering the connotations behind a mother. She is strong and can be intimidating when provoked, but is also equally loving, protective, and reliable. And I believe I do exude these qualities, especially when it comes to Fusion, because I do love Fusion and I will do what it takes to protect it and help it to grow and flourish. In order for this growth to take place, I would like to start by introducing some structural changes to the internship program. As potential future leaders of Fusion, it's important that they are given the proper resources and preparation to develop and enhance their leadership capabilities. I would want to start the program off by learning each of the interns' strengths and weaknesses. That way we can cater to their needs by improving on their shortcomings while also utilizing their assets for the benefit of the group. In regards to the family system, I want to take what I learned from running the mentorship program this year and instigating activity within it and extend it on a larger scale to the family system to, to offer more opportunities and incentives for families to be active. Finally, in honor of Fusion's 15th year, I want to introduce some new traditions to help keep Fusion on the track of growth. For instance, I want to launch Fusion's very first Battle of the Brains, which is a trivia competition between Fusion members and Fusion alumni that can not only contribute to general member satisfaction, but also bolster alumni relations. Ultimately, all of these words boil down to one point. I want to be Fusion's internal vice president next year. I think that I would be a good fit for the position given my qualities and my vision for the club, and I hope that you all think so too. Thank you. Yes.
So I guess just starting off from my year as a program coordinator when we first established the family system membership recognition program, and that being shifted all to the internal vice president. There's been a big problem with finding that balance for the position, because I feel like every complaint each year with the position is that they feel like it's overworked when it comes to balancing the internship program, the family system, and then the recognition program, all that stuff. It's a lot of work for one individual to do. And so just wondering how do you plan on taking on this overwhelming amount of responsibility for next year on top of third-year engineering?
Okay. Well, I've seen the way that the IVPs have had to handle their responsibilities, and I think if I were in the position, I would start over summer and start planning week by week what I would want to accomplish. Ideally, there has to be room for flexibility, of course, but these will be the things that I definitely would want to happen by these weeks, so that starting early, I'll be prepared. So that I will be able to manage. And of course, if something does come up and it's harder than I expected or something like that, I would reach out to the rest of the board and ask them for help or input on what they think I should do in order to help lessen the load. Sydney?
So since you're in charge of the internship program, how would you deal with making sure all the interns are on track and to make sure none of them fall out and sort of that?
So I think what I, okay. Well, what I would want to do first and foremost is to actually start having interviews as part of the internship application process. So it's kind of another obstacle that makes sure that the people who do apply do really want to be in this position. And it will also give me a chance to convey to them in person what are the responsibilities of being an intern and what are the expectations to make sure that they are willing to take on these responsibilities. And if come like during the year they start faltering and they don't come out, like I will personally reach out to them and see what I can do for them to keep them around, or if like they really don't want the position anymore, like there's a lot of things that you can do from there.
Any other questions?
Christian.
As internal vice president, you're in charge of the family system. And this year they had family heads, not the board member. You don't have to be a board member to be a family head, but some of the families have been quiet. How do you actually keep it active so that the family system is an active diffusion?
So I think Carlos actually did a really good job this year at kind of like trying to get the family system started, because it is a really nascent program. It's going to be hard for it to like be fully active right off the bat. So it's like starting small and having like these small incentives for families to achieve. Like with the weekly challenges, I thought that, you know, I started seeing more pictures on our Facebook page, which we typically didn't see throughout the past 2 quarters. So once he started that going, there was more activity. So it's just finding more like small challenges and activities to get families to come together and like accomplish this like thing that's there.
All right, thank you, Sharon.
Hi everyone. For those who you don't know, because I don't know, maybe you don't know me. My name is Sandra Tong, and I'm a 3rd year educational major, and I'm running for internal vice president for next year. And I have some specific goals because a lot of times we're focused on, we love fusion, but you know, sometimes it's more about than we love fusion. But I think about loving fusion. So for the internship, I've recognized that we've grown our internship like pool, and it's nice to like include everyone. We don't want to put anyone down, but there are some negatives to that where we can't focus on the individuals when internship is for the individuals who want to know more about Fusion Board and be more involved. So to fix that, I want to limit it to at the most 10, 11 people. You know, giving that little wiggle room for if there is a large pool of excellent individuals, you know. Let's see here. Oh, sorry. And to improve an internship, I would like to set particular guidelines for the shadowing program. I know the shadowing program has been, at least in the past for my board, that it's been hazy, so I want strict guidelines with that. And then also for the family system, I want laid out point system that's very clear to everyone. I'm gonna set it up right at the beginning so that everyone can know how they can get the points, how their family can win. And along with that, I want to have like weekly updates on like who's the leading family at the moment, so that it can foster healthy competition and everyone can go for the families together, like winning family together. And then as for the MERP, I want to also set guidelines. Basically, guidelines are everything, especially also with the MERP, the Membership Recognition Program, where you guys can know how you can become the member of the month, and along with why the person got it. And then some things that I missed when I was talking about the internship was I want to teach them how to do things more specifically, ask them what they want to do, what they want to achieve from this internship program, and really make the internship as much as it can be for them. And that's my positions. And thank you for your time.
Do you have questions?
Yeah.
Not being a part of the board this year, do you feel any disconnection with Fusion?
There is slight disconnect, I won't lie, but that doesn't mean that it can't be improved on. There's always chances for me to get to know everyone who has joined since I came, and that will also give me opportunities that's a plus for me to get into board. A reason why I want to go on board is to know Fusion more and get to become part of the family once again.
questions?
How has being on other boards like PACN board helped you grow as a leader?
It has helped me tremendously. I believe because for PACN board, I didn't know many of the faces that I had to work with, and it made me very impartial to them that I can work. And even when there are things that happen that I don't agree with, I can put my own feelings aside and work towards the goal of PACN or Fusion. Yeah.
You said you want to decrease the number of interns down to around 9 or 10. So are you good if there's like too many interns next year? What do you want to do to select or like cut down on the number of interns that apply next year?
So how do I plan to limit it?
Like too many interns and then you can only select like 9 or 10.
Mm-hmm.
Like what do you like plan to do to like select the 9 or 10 if there's too many?
Okay. If there's too many applications, then we will have to be selective, and it's usually been between exec board and internal vice president of choosing the interns, and it's just through application, nothing face to face. And for those who really want it, they will show through the applications. And for those who don't make the cut, then I plan to make more opportunities or emphasize opportunities for those who do not to become an active board member, not board member, active general member. Does that answer your question? Kind of. Do you want me to elaborate anything? Okay. Yes.
So should you become IVP, you'll probably be working with a lot of people you haven't spent a lot of time with or people you haven't worked with closely before. So how do you plan on like bridging that gap?
I plan to bridge that gap with, like, of course, getting to know them. Maybe schedule more one-on-ones with them to facilitate that relationship between us, and also get hangouts along with structured hangouts, because I want a friendship, but also stabilizing that it's a relationship to build upon you and not us. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Sandra.
Yeah.
So as internal vice president, part of your job is to make sure that your general members are happy. So what can you do as vice president to ensure that the overall feeling of your club is happy?
Do you want to go? You can go. I guess for me, I would like to kind of building upon the suggestion box, getting a general feel of how like the members feel about the club, and then if it's not doing so well, then I'll try to make more activities or more opportunities for them to bond and have fun. That's my answer.
I think for me, I'd also want to continue using the suggestion box because I think it's a really good idea on like getting feedback from the rest of the membership. And also, one of the things that I do like about Fusion Board is how we do kind of encourage each other. Like, oh, when you see like a new member walk in the door, like go introduce yourselves to them and make them feel welcome. And I think for the overall climate, it also relies on the general members too, to also be the ones to reach out to like new members when they see them. So it's like just trying to encourage like everybody to kind of like get to know each other.
So let's say like you're starting the family system and you're having trouble like finding people that want to be family heads or subheads. Like none of the board members are interested. You don't really have general members interested. So how would you handle that situation?
So I think what I would do is, if there's really no general members who do want the position, I would ask the board members like who would be willing to take on this position, because it is an extra stress on them, but if we need it to be done, I think that accountability will definitely come from the board. And also in terms of subheads, I actually think maybe putting that extra responsibility on the interns because it wouldn't be too much like additional if there's like 2 interns or something like that helping another board member be like the heads of the group, and it would also give them exposure to being leaders and to instigating like activities, and these are the things that we want to build within the intern, so it would also help with their growth.
I was also gonna say, try to reach out to the interns because they've signed up to be a board position, and not necessarily it's a board position, but it's a way for them to help out the club as a whole. And then I would try to, along with that, try to reach out again to the general members, really message them and talk to the ones that I would see that have potential to become a family head. And again, really try to talk with my board members to see who's available if they feel ready.
I don't know.
But that was fast.
Tell
Since like the vice president acts like the right-hand man of the president, in the case that you, as an internal vice president, don't get along with the president, like in terms of like views of running the club, how would you manage to like clear that up without affecting the rest of the board?
Well, if problems were to arise between me and the president, then we should be adult enough to realize that, to talk it out, to discuss our different viewpoints, and then try to collaborate and find a middleman solution. Or one of us has to like agree or disagree, or agree to the other's position. And it's so important that we don't put our personal opinions into working to like our working relationship, because it doesn't matter about us. It's about the club. And I don't know, through personal experience with board position, other leadership position, I feel like I would be able to do that.
I think for me, if I do disagree, I actually think maybe that's better, because that causes a conversation to arise about what's best for the club. Because you can have your own personal views, but when it comes to Fusion and Fusion's business, we can like discuss what's better for the club like objectively. And if there's still like no compromise to be had, it should be taken to the rest of the board, because they are all part of Fusion. So the final decision should lie with everybody.
Other questions?
Cool. So as an IVP and along with the rest of your board, you are all the faces of Fusion. So say I'm a new student and I see you guys booth at like your involvement fair like in the very beginning of the year. What would your 30-second elevator speech to me about what Fusion's all about?
You got it. You got it? You got it?
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah?
So our club is Fusion, which stands for Filipinos Unifying Scientists Engineers in an Organized Network, and we are a Filipino engineering organization that supports Filipino engineers both socially and academically. But you don't have to be really either to join, because we're all just here to support each other through the difficulties of college. So it's just a fun way to like kind of come out and relax and meet new people.
Hi, have you heard about Fusion? Fusion stands for Filipino Americans Unifying Scientists Engineers in an Organized Network. What we do is we do build projects and Filipino meetings, and it's really, really fun because look at all the great stuff that we've done, like paper, cardboard boats. There's a competition that we do at a local pool, and we also have fun games like that are based off TV shows. It's really fun, and you don't have to be Filipino or an engineer to join, just like myself. I'm neither, but I am board member. So I think you should, or if you have a chance, you should check it out.
So I know there's a
about how we're going to draw on new students and new people, but how do you plan on retaining current members?
Let's see here. I think really trying to foster the friendships that have that can happen and has happened in between the general members, and trying to have fun with within the activities. And I want to have that happen with the competitions that I was saying with the family system. With competition, like you create teams within the family, and then to go against your friends, and it's just a lot of fun to see who can win. And with those kind of activities, I think that would keep them coming back.
I think part of what keeps people here is the environment. Like everybody's really welcoming and things like that. So it's trying to reinforce that by having like open communication between people, and like encouraging members to like interact with people they haven't met before at general meetings. And I think it's also continuing to have like new events, new and fun events. Because I know for me, when I first came to Fusion, I didn't really like it. But then it was after coming to one of the Fusion Fridays that I was like, oh, maybe I can give them a second chance and like come back. And then after that, I became like intern, forerunner, and things like that. So I think like always having these fresh ideas that catch people's attention, and making like the returning members want to see like, oh, what's new that I can like try.
Okay, so being in charge of IVP, you have like a lot of positions or a lot of programs to, well, you're in charge of a lot of programs. So what happens when you don't get the input you need to like move on with this idea that you have over the programs? Like if you want to make it grow, what happens when you don't get the input that you need? What approach would you take?
I guess, when that does happen, I would probably consult with my board to see what kind of input they would have. Besides, like, if let's say input like was from everyone, general members and board members, I would like try talk one-on, like message them like, what do you think? Or really try to talk to my board, not necessarily as a group, but as individuals, and then go from there. Find a solution and finish whatever I'm doing.
Similarly, I think if like collectively, if I'm not getting input from like an entire group, I would address specific board members and interns, like because every person kind of has their strengths, and as a board member, you can kind of see who has what strengths. So if there's a certain aspect that you want information on or like advice on, I would contact the person that kind of offers that specific strength that I like, that feedback that I would need, that like aligns with their values.
Okay, so that's 10 minutes. So thank you, Sharon and Sandra.